Hey, how's it going? So, this is gonna be a video which be on lookout. There's gonna be another video too, where I'm gonna be breaking down some comic references, stuff that I've noticed in these games. Because yes, this game tries to be its own thing for the most part, but there's a lot of comic references altogether, and through the suits, through the abilities, hell, through the collections. So, yeah, we're gonna be breaking everything. We're gonna be breaking down a lot of it all together, and let's see. Give me one sec because I want to find something. I want to know if I have the dialogue of the Spider-Man one. Speaking of, there apparently is a little reference you get after you try the suit on the first time. The Spider-Punk suit. I didn't know if I got it, but it is what it is. But here, while we're here, might as well check out the suits first. Okay, so as you guys know, the advanced suit is a Somic's original design. But if you look very closely at a lot of it altogether, it takes references to all three Spider-Men altogether. The shutter eye lenses is basically Tom Holland's design. The long, lengthy spider that is usually typically when it comes to Jesus fucking Christ, Andrew Garfield's. The sharper outlook on the design altogether, like when it comes to spiders and the eyes, that's more of the Raimi version, as you can tell. And also, yeah, and then, like I said, the shuttered eyes. So a lot of this is referencing a lot of aspects of all three Spider-Men altogether, which is pretty cool. I think a lot of people have already talked about that multiple different times, but I don't think people address it enough that this suit, they tried their hardest to make sure that they were making sure that there was some familiarity to that suit for a lot of these guys. No, the classic suit, it's just basically the classic Spider-Man suit. That's all it is. This is the suit that we all know and love. It's a Somic's depiction of the suit, but the suit's still amazing. You should all care. You guys should all love it. It's iconic. The Noir suit. This suit actually is part of Spider-Man Noir. I think a lot of people are now addressing Spider-Man Noir with Into the Spider-Verse. But before Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Noir basically looked like this. His suit was actually created by an old World War I outfit that used to be Uncle Ben's, with a modified goggles and mask. And if you guys are wondering why he has a gun holster, that's because Spider Noir actually uses a gun and he does kill people. He has organic webbing, so he doesn't really need web shooters. The only thing I can really also say is he has the ability to stick to walls, but he doesn't stick to walls, if that makes sense. It's very weird. It's because the fabric on his clothing, he can't really stick to walls. And then there is Ben Reilly. Across Spider-Verse did Ben Reilly dirty, okay? They turned him into Andy Samberg. If you guys don't know, Ben Reilly is actually the smartest version of the smartest version of Spider-Man out there. Ben Reilly is a clone of Peter Parker, but in all sense of the word, he's a little more intelligent than Peter. Like, he made his device to be more advanced. Like, he's actually the creator of Impact Webbing, which Impact Webbing is actually a Scarlet Spider thing. Same thing with a lot of other web gadgets and techniques, because Ben Reilly was the more gadget-concentrated Spider-Man. Peter often just made new suits to combat his enemies. So, like, perfect example, Bulletproof. The Bulletproof Spider Armor Mark II actually came in the comic book talking about loss and tragedy. A villain was gunning down, and there was a guy who was gunning down people in New York and actually killed J. Jonah Jameson's wife. And Peter, suffering a lot of loss too, and was thinking about harming the guy, thought, no, we need to be better. It showed how Peter dealt with his loss, and it's showing how Jameson dealt with his. And it also puts more in depth of why J. Jonah Jameson's very angry at the world. Why is he so hateful as... why he is typically so hateful towards Peter, or as Spider-Man. And during his comic books, J. Jonah Jameson's also the mayor, which I should also note that. The suit's pretty cool altogether. They did took some liberties. There's not really as much silver accents like there is in the comic books, because there is silver accents on that suit. But the standard loadout's still practically the same. Now, the Secret War suit. This suit did not come from Secret Wars. This came from a comic book called Secret War, which was a story where Nick Fury actually infiltrated Latveria because of a New World leader, and he coerced a shit ton of heroes to do his dirty work. This suit actually only made like 2 appearances in the comic book in general, in like 2 pages. It's a pretty unique design altogether. It suffers with the neon palette, so it's... If you guys don't know what the neon palette is, it's basically they just have an all-black suit with their colors as liners. Like, they use their typical main primary colors as highlights for the suit. I mean, I like it. It's a decent stealth suit. I would actually see Peter using this a lot more altogether as a stealth suit than his other designs. And believe me, there's other designs. This right here is the MCU Spider-Man. I think we all know this design. This is actually the Homecoming design. Well, Civil War design. No, not even Civil War design, because the Civil War suit was actually supposed to be different altogether. Like, they CGI'd this over the actual suit. Which, my god, that sucked. I actually like the Civil War suit a lot better. But no, it's basically standard Spider-Man. It still captures the essence of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. This suit was also the first one to implement shuttered lenses, which a lot of us comic fans, when we first saw this, were like, oh my god, Tom Holland, we're not going to see him a whole lot. We're going to actually see Spider-Man on camera. They're not going to sit there and constantly take off his mask. Boy, we were wrong. Like, the real reason why a lot of these guys took off Spider-Man's mask in the movies was because you need to see emotion in the high emotion scenes. We thought, oh, the shuttered lenses were going to fix that, because in the comic books, how they combat the high emotion scenes is that they just emote Peter's eyes in the comics. You can see them going shifty, you can see them going smaller, even going brighter. And we thought the shuttered lenses were going to basically go, oh, so we're actually going to see Spider-Man instead of Tom Holland fighting his supervillains. Yeah, no, we were wrong. We were wrong. Alright. Now, other than that, then we got the Negative Zone suit. I don't know why they didn't go with the classic Negative Zone design. Like, I get it, they wanted to use the advanced suit as much as possible, but fun fact, the Negative Zone Spider-Man suit actually literally just came from the Negative Zone. Because when Peter was actually controlled by Mr. Negative, his suit looked more like the Webman suit. It was just inverted colors. That's all it was. The Negative Zone suit came from Spider-Man gaining some abilities during the time when he was in the Negative Zone. But no, I don't get it. I mean, this could be their version of Peter being possessed by Mr. Negative, but I don't know. Then we got the Electro-Proof suit, the installation suit, which is, by the way, this suit was actually designed to fight Electro in a comic book. I can't remember exactly which comic book, but I remember it was in the 90s or early 2000s. It looks ridiculous, but trust me, the suit actually looks a lot better in the comics. I'll say that very much. I actually, by looking at the eye form, it could be early 2000s because that's how his eyes used to look. So, yeah. Electro-Proof suit. Then they got Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk, actually, fun fact, this was actually used to have been concept art for Spider UK. But they're like, you know what? We do not like this design for Spider UK because what we're going for when it comes to Spider UK, but we like the suit altogether. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new character called Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk in the comic books is Hobie Brown, which Hobie Brown in Earth 616 is actually Prowler. But, yeah. Despite popular belief, Hobie Brown is not British. He's actually American. He lives in New York. And I don't know where the whole Hobie Brown being gay came from. It could be because of the fact that his partner in the comic books, Captain Anarchy, is gay. And they just thought Hobie Brown was gay. No, Hobie Brown's not gay. Hobie Brown's an ally, but he's not gay. Captain Anarchy, though, his partner in crime, or his partner, like his superhero teammate, is gay. I should state that. There is some parts of Hobie Brown that people don't realize. Like, there was a scene with King the Conqueror, or their version of King the Conqueror, flat says the reason why he was trying to kidnap Spider-Punk was because Spider-Punk died early. He didn't die old. Well, Captain Anarchy did. So that kind of helped Spider-Punk face his own mortality at that point. But he's still a pretty cool character, not gonna lie. Now, this is the wrestler suit. This is not 616 wrestler design. The back emblem is a dead giveaway on that part. But, no, this suit's first comic book appearance. It did not have any emblems on it. They did that as them. They did that in the Islamic version, but they didn't do it for this. They didn't do it in the comic books. And also, the pants and the mask is supposed to be black. This suit was actually worn by Earth 1610's Peter Parker as a prototype suit when he became a wrestler. The suit altogether is pretty darn unique. They got good, straightforward altogether. But, yeah. This was the suit that he wore for like a couple panels, and then he changed it with a red and blue suit afterwards. But no, this is the wrestler design worn by 1610's Peter Parker, or the Ultimate Universe Peter Parker. Now, the Fear Itself suit is just basically it is the Fear Itself suit altogether. This suit is actually enhanced with Asgardian weaponry, which helped him combat the other gods. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if they're hammer gods or something, because a lot of these guys have like different axes and hammers. But this is Peter's version of the suit. Iron Man got like a destroyer armor, and I know fucking Wolverine had like some fire abilities. But yeah, the Fear Itself suit is just basically a recoloration of the normal classic suit, but with bladed weapons on the wrists. Now, the Big Time suit, the Stealth Big Time suit, is one of my favorite suits because it is actually a versatile utility suit. It has 3 different settings. The suit will actually change the lights for its settings, typically. They didn't do it for this version, I don't know why. But in the comic books, green means stealth, red means sonar, and then blue is just neutral. So usually what would happen is Peter designed the suit to fight the Hobgoblin Phil Urich, who has a sonic attack that just destroy. It put Spider-Man down for the count instantly down there. But no, the stealth suit was also he designed the stealth aspect because he had to infiltrate the Kingpin's lair. The suit also is equipped with anti-vibranium weaponry. Anti-vibranium is actually a metal that if it gets in contact with other types of metals, it will dissolve it. He actually used it to disarm Hobgoblin's sword, which is pretty badass. Then we got the Spider Armor Mark III. This suit was actually designed for the Ends of the Earth storyline, where the Sinister Six try to conquer the world. The helmet is implemented with a device that helps Peter control Dr. Octopus's bots, Dr. Octavius's bots. The suit is also kind of the key to Peter's downfall. The suit actually opened up a gateway for Dr. Otto Octavius to swap minds with Peter. So that's something that we should also talk about. The design's basically the same altogether. I do like how they did some redesigns of the suit. The suit's still on point. I'll say that very much. The cod piece looks weird. I don't know why. But yeah. It's still a pretty cool suit. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite designs. I'll say that first and foremost. Now, let's go to Miguel O'Hara of Spider-Man 2099. Miguel O'Hara is actually a half Latino, half Hispanic. No, not. He's a half Irish, half Hispanic Spider-Man. That's why in the comic books he looks white. Because if you actually met an Irish Latino, they do not look Latino. Okay, they actually look white for the most part. Miguel O'Hara is actually the Spider-Man of year 2099. His suit is implemented by the aspects of it being a Day of the Dead costume. He used the mask as identity, so people didn't know who he was. The only advanced thing a part of this suit is the fact is that it's made out of antimatter, so it's really, really hard to tear. That's why he can use his talons in the suit, on his suit, without tearing apart. But this version of Spider-Man cannot stick to walls. He has organic webbing. He's a lot faster than Earth 616 Spider-Man. And Spider-Man 2099 does not have a spider sense, but he does have enhanced vision. But no, this version of Spider-Man is pretty cool. I'll say that very much. He's very 90s for the most part, because back in the 90s it was all cyberpunk future. It was the cyberpunk futuristic era of comic books, typically. Well, it's either that or like power armor or spikes everywhere. But yeah. In the comic books, the suit's actually supposed to be black. Like, it's a black and red suit in the comics. I think they implemented it as blue more on the lines because the fact is, in the comic books, the reason why it looked more blue was because all the neon lights in 2099 was all blue lighting. So it reflected on him and made his suit look red and blue. That's why in the comic books, it looks blue. But no, it's pretty cool design altogether. Then we also got the Iron Spider MCU suit. I don't know why I hate this suit so much. It could be because the fact is that they did this as the Iron Spider design instead of doing the classic Iron Spider design, which is red and gold. But the suit is just so garbage. Why the fuck did they make this? Someone should have got fired for that. And there's nothing I can really say about the suit. The suit's nanotech. There you go. I could just say that very much about the suit. Then we got the Velocity suit. The Velocity suit's actually an original creation for Insomniac, but the the suit was created by the same person who made the Iron Man Extremis suit and was actually the main lead artist for the Iron Man comics for a long while. A lot of his artwork also came from a lot of the Marvel Knights comic books. So that's something that is pretty interesting to look forward to. Like, read up on the Marvel Knights comics. But, yeah. That's pretty much the Velocity suit. I like the Velocity suit. I do like the fact that it's a red and blue. I do like the red and blue design. Absolutely do not like the eyes, but I can live with that. But no, in the comic books, they didn't use the same artist, which kind of baffles me. But at the same time, the suit's still pretty unique. The suit should get some love altogether. Then we got one of my favorite we got my favorite spider armors, the Spider Armor Mark IV. This suit was created by Peter Parker as a way to show that Peter is all new and all different. This came from the All New, All Different comic books, where this suit's kind of like a symbiote. It flows onto Peter, so you can't really say it's nanotech, but yeah, this suit's also the originator of electric webbing too, which is pretty cool. The suit is also bulletproof in on a lot of the aspects. The red part's bulletproof. The blue has a little less armor, but it's yeah, the suit's pretty cool altogether. I have to say that very much. I'm sorry I'm bumbling a lot. I'm doing this not on script. I don't even have a script. This is just all knowledge coming from me. But no, this suit's a pretty cool suit altogether. It's a pretty badass design. One of my favorite aspects of the suit is that it kept the classic look altogether, but they added some extra red to the suit, and they made the webbing a lot sharper. My favorite part about the suit is the fact is that they didn't try to do anything too unique with the suit. They kept it as how it's supposed to be, because this was supposed to be the main Spider-Man suit going forward. Like, they weren't going to go to the classic suit ever again. But things changed after Secret Empire. Peter had to go back to the classic suit afterwards. But no, this is still a pretty cool suit. Even though it's destroyed, this suit deserves to get some love. The Spirit Spider. That's not actually the name of this Spider-Man. This Spider-Man's name is actually Ghost Spider. Originally, he used to go by the Spider, and he used to have a cape and a red and blue suit. This version of Spider-Man lived in basically, essentially, a perfect world, where Peter is the top hero in that universe. Like, all the other heroes retired. Tony Stark is fat and happy. Fucking Dr. Banner is Doctor Strange in that universe. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. And this Spider-Man essentially died after his life force got drained because he was trying to kill main universe Peter Parker. But to make amends for his sins, he got possessed by the Spirit of Vengeance, and now he is Ghost Spider. Now, this right here is the all-new, all-different 2099 suit. This suit was actually created by Peter Parker as a gift for Miguel O'Hara when Miguel O'Hara decided, you know what, I'm going to get out of retirement and become Spider-Man again. In context of the situation, Miguel O'Hara was trapped into the present because of Superior Spider-Man. This suit altogether is relatively the same. It has more spider aspects instead of the Day of the Dead design. But the suit, for the most part, is just... It's a cool design. It's a cool suit altogether. He even took the suit back with him when he went back to the future. So, yeah. Miguel O'Hara doesn't currently wear this suit anymore. He went back to his Day of the Dead suit, but it's still a relatively cool suit to look at. What do you want from me? It's just the cel-shaded version of the classic Spider-Man suit. There's nothing I can say about this. It looks... Design looks very... It looks way too inspired by Steve Ditko, but they could have at least updated the emblem in the eyes. And maybe the back emblem too, just to keep the Steve Ditko design all together. The reason why I'm saying it's inspired by Steve Ditko is because in the comic books, the suit's supposed to originally be red and black, but with all the blue shading all together, they just said, you know what, fuck it, it's gotta be red and blue. But yeah, this suit's still relatively cool. I'll say that very much. I like it for the most part. The Last Stand suit. This suit is actually worn by Peter Parker when he started becoming a serious crime fighter. This suit he wore when he started killing his enemies instead of, giving them a chance. And this version of Peter has lost almost everybody. He has suffered a lot more loss than most other heroes have dealt with. And this Peter actually also died in his first comic book appearance. And this version of Spider-Man suit is actually based off... This was designed by a tailor that Peter saved a while back from being assassinated. The tailor that designed this suit, though, is also the typical superhero tailor. He's also a typical supervillain tailor, too. Like, he schedules his days on to, superheroes on these 2 days, and then villains on these 2 days. He even changes the magazines for those heroes, too, which is actually pretty cool. But no, altogether, this suit's pretty darn cool. It's one of my favorite designs. In the comic books, the jacket's actually supposed to be blue. I don't know why they made it black leather. It's actually supposed to be blue. Or it's supposed to be the jeans. I don't know for sure, because I know the jeans are supposed to be blue, too, if on certain parts of the costume. But no, yeah, that's just basically the Last Stand suit. This is just basically... It's a cool design. I'll say that very much. Then we got the homemade suit from Spider-Man Homecoming. This is the suit that retcons the Civil War homemade suit. There's nothing you can really say about this suit. This suit's very Scott Spider inspired, if that makes sense. If you look at the references too, originally the Spider-Man suit was supposed to be inverted altogether and look a lot more like Scott Spider, but John Watts didn't think people would understand who Scott Spider is, and he didn't think a lot of people would get the reference. Then we got the Undies suit and the ESU suit. They're really just nothing there when it comes to references. But Antioch suit, it's just a standard suit altogether. God damn it, I was pretending I was gonna go off like there's something about the suit that makes it unique, but there really isn't. It's just... It's original design, I would say that very much. It's just original armored design. And then we got the Dark suit. This suit actually made its first appearance in Spider-Man and Deadpool. This is actually a stealth suit that was inspired a lot by Black Widow. And it's altogether just supposed to be a stealth suit. That's all it is. That's literally what it was all made for. That's why it's a black and red suit. The suit also, and like I said, the suit was also inspired by Black Widow, so in the comic books, and it looks like in the game too, it has hourglasses on the palms of its hands, and the spiders has kind of an hourglass kind of texture to it, or design to it. So yeah. Yeah, that's all it really is. It's supposed to be literally just a stealth suit. Resilience suit, same aspect as the Velocity suit. But this suit didn't make it in a comic book. The suit was created by a comic artist. I can't remember, but I remember that I love the eyes on the suit, and that's it. Other parts of the suit I really don't like. I really don't like the Resilience suit. They could have done a lot better. Spider UK. Spider UK is actually the creator of the Web Warriors. Brian Braddock actually witnessed his version of Peter Parker getting killed by the Inheritors. So he took on the mantle of Spider UK to honor his version of Peter Parker and honor the fact that he was part of the Captain Britain Corps. Spider UK is now dead in the comic books, but he was actually the trend center of the Web Warriors, and he's actually the one who started the multiversal technology in the Spider-Man comic books. He was also leader for the most part until they got 616 Peter to become leader. But yeah, this version of Spider-Man is really cool. And across Spider-Verse, they took that mantle away from Spider UK. I don't know why, but Spider UK should have gotten some love. I think they just didn't like the fact that they didn't want the leader of the Spider-Man to be a blonde hair, blue eyes, white British guy. I think that's their reasoning. But yeah. Other than that, that's Spider UK. He actually was replaced in the comic books too, though. I'll say that very much. He was replaced. Kane Parker, everybody. The edgy Spider-Man. This is actually Scarlet Spider. This is the second Scarlet Spider in the comic books. Kane is actually the first clone of Peter. He's the imperfect version. He's the imperfect clone. In the comic books, he originally started off as a villain that loved his brother Ben, but absolutely hated Peter. But then further down the lines, when he got saved by Peter, he got fixed for the most part. Like, his scars went away afterwards, after he got saved by Peter, because he was originally became a tarantula. This spider is also the totem of the Other, which pretty much means that he's a lot stronger than Peter. He has organic webbing. He has stingers that come out of his wrists. And this motherfucker could turn into a giant spider to fight his opponents. The cool part about his suit also heals too. Like, it's a self-repairing uniform. But the suit's pretty cool. This Spider-Man's actually in Texas. Well, this version of Spider-Man's in Texas. Not anymore now. He lives in Las Vegas with Ben Reilly. But yeah, still a pretty cool suit. Next up, Spider Armor Mark 1. This suit was actually just basically a red and blue design, but silver and black. The suit was designed to fight the new Enforcers. They had a lot more dangerous weaponry, so Peter couldn't fight them head on. So he replaced his agility with a more heavy armored suit. This suit got destroyed in its first appearance, but yeah, he saved the day using this suit. Then we got Iron Spider. The Iron Spider suit was given to Peter by Tony Stark as a form of buttering him up so Peter would sign up for the registration program. The Superhero Registration Act actually made a lot of superheroes who sign up for it reveal our identities to the public, so they would be more trusted by the people. That was actually the biggest aspect of the Civil War comics. Peter was working with Tony Stark at the time, but Peter also swapped sides to Captain America's after Tony tried killing him because Peter just wanted out. Peter didn't want to do this shit anymore. Like, he wanted to protect his family, and Tony took that as a threat and then tried to kill Peter. Afterwards, Tony also sicked a bunch of supervillains on him, and it took Peter being saved by the Punisher, and then Peter's like, fuck it, I'm not going to retire. Tony Stark needs a fucking pay. So he joined Team Cap. I don't have this suit unlocked for a multitude of reasons, but There's really nothing about it. This is actually the manga versus Spider-Man. If you really want to know about this character, look him up. I really have nothing to say about this character. I've never read up on him and all that, so. Aaron Aikman is just... It's the Spider-Verse. There's nothing about this guy! On all honesty, like, there's only like one thing in his comic books. He's only made one comic appearance. But there's really nothing you could talk about when it comes to this guy. His superpowers literally came from him. Like, he gave him his own powers to save the world. There is nothing about this version of Spider-Man that makes him unique, except for the fact that his suit's very armored-like. Hey, I think I'm gonna piss off a couple of fans, but yeah, this suit, it's whatever. I was swinging the suit just meh. Cyborg Spider-Man is just a version of Spider-Man that got taken out by the new Sinister Six, and then Cable came in and gave him some cybernetic enhancements, and yeah. So for a time, Spider-Man was a cyborg. This was a very 90s looking Spider-Man suit, too. That's why it had like a lot of spikes and sharp edges onto it and a bunch of pouches. But no, this was just literally just... That's all it was. It was just 90s edgy Spider-Man. This Spider-Man also carried a fucking gun. And Into the Spider-Verse is the version... This is the Peter Parker version, because the Peter B. Parker is a little more rounder in the middle. But, yeah, this is just a redesign of the classic suit for the Into the Spider-Verse movie. It's a cool suit altogether. I don't know... It's kind of weird that they gave it a purplish blue suit color onto the suit, because the suit's supposed to be very blue. Like, they got the colors wrong on the suit, but it's whatever, I guess. They got it right into the first part of the suit. Like, they got it right here. Let me check something.
People, I always thought Spider-Man was a few geese short of a gaggle, but this confirms it. As if that atrocious white spider wasn't enough, I've had repeated sightings of him in a new outfit. Some sort of punk rock-inspired thing that makes sane people want to tear out their eyeballs with a rusty spoon. Now, I was around for the birth of punk rock, and I did not care for it then. It's a flagrant declaration of disrespect for authority, and if Spider-Man is going down that route... Oh, no, I just had a terrifying thought. What if this isn't the Spider-Man we know, but some sort of metal mohawk-wearing copycat? What if there's more than one? Jared, go to break. I need to lie down.
Oh, there we go. Now I got the fucking thing. God damn it. It took that long, and I had to swap out the suit. Alright. We're here. We're gonna turn to the daytime because I want to see how the suit looks in the daytime to see if I was wrong with the inverted colors, because they did fuck up the colors on the suit. But I really want to make sure that I'm not just talking out of my ass here. The Miles Morales video might come tomorrow. I'll say that very much. I was thinking about doing it today, but I might just do it tomorrow. No, I was right. They just fucked up the color scheme. Oh well, I guess. But other than that, it's just Into the Spider-Verse suit. Now, this suit was my childhood. This is the Raimi Spider-Man suit. This is not the first iteration of the Raimi Spider-Man suit. This is actually the third iteration, because there's actually 3 suits that Sam Raimi Spider-Man wore. Actually, now 4, because No Way Home kind of made a new suit for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. But no, in the comic books, well, not in the God damn, I got so used to saying comic books. I suck out. Fuck. No. This suit was actually designed for the movies. The first one was just literally just a red sweatshirt with blue sweatpants and a red ski mask. The other version had a brighter blue, more simplified spider, and a big bolder spider in the back. But this one's first appearance was in Spider-Man 2, and it also made its last appearance in Spider-Man 3. This suit altogether is basically my childhood. This is what the Spider-Man I grew up with was wearing altogether. Like, this was the person who, like, Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man was the Spider-Man that got me to love the character for the most part. That and the Ultimate Universe version of Spider-Man. Which, by the way, this version of Spider-Man had a lot of different aspects of the Ultimate Universe, which is pretty damn cool altogether. Like, you could read the first sets of the comic books, and then you could watch the Spider Raimi movies. You're like, oh my god, holy shit! They took a lot of references from there. Like, holy shit, you gotta respect that. In all honesty. You know, this version of Spider-Man's heavily inspired by the Ultimate Universe. And then we got the bombastic Bagman suit. This suit is actually given to Peter by the Human Torch. He was given an old Fantastic Four uniform with a paper bag. They don't know why they didn't put the Kick Me sign in the back. That kind of bugs me. But fucking John Human Torch put a Kick Me sign on the back as well. This suit was given to him after he disregarded the black suit, so Reed Richards can do some experimenting on it. Now we got the Future Foundation suit. This suit was given to Peter by the Future Foundation when he became the fourth member of the Fantastic Four. This is because his best friend in the comic books, Human Torch, died in combat in the negative zone by Atrocitus. This suit is self-repairing, has a form of cloaking technology, and this suit can mimic any other version of Peter's old suits. So it could look like the classic suit, look like the black suit, and it can invert its color scheme. Invert his color scheme for stealth. La 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 la. The fuck. I can't speak. Cool suit altogether. You should love it. Then we got the upgraded suit for Spider-Man Far From Home. We got the fucking stealth suit for Spider-Man Far From Home. No one gives a fuck about these suits. Fuck these suits. Honestly, god damn, I absolutely hate this one the most. Out of all of them, like, this suit's fucking ass. Make the suit fucking red and blue. Use the color scheme. God damn it. Now, this suit is actually my favorite Spider-Man suit of all time, because when this comic book came out, I was going through a phase of having dark and edgy shit, and guess what? They were giving me a dark and edgy Spider-Man, which was Andrew Garfield's 2012 Amazing Spider-Man. This suit has more of an unfinished look to it. The suit wasn't supposed to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that we knew and loved, because this version of Spider-Man wasn't being a hero for responsibility, he was being a hero for revenge. He was actually going after his Uncle Ben's killer at the time as well. He didn't start becoming a superhero truly until the bridge scene in the movie. But no, this is my favorite Spider-Man suit. I hope it comes back for Marvel Spider-Man 2. One of my favorite, all-out favorite designs for the movie's version of Spider-Man, and it's one of my favorite redesigns altogether. This suit is just an Insomniac creation. There's nothing special about this. It's a very Japanese 90s TV show inspired Spider-Man suit. This suit's garbage. There's nothing I can say about it. This suit's garbage. But no, that's all the suit references. Now let's go to the collections. Now, there's only very few of these that actually have a reference, well, an actual comic book reference, but I'll give it a try for the most part.
Tried mixing up a prototype web fluid at Oscorp while Harry had his
This one right here The reference
Lord,
is actually on right here.
place has always been bad luck.
See, cat number TASM 1965. So let me Google that real quick and give you guys that reference. What, do you really think I was gonna remember that? I haven't I haven't read that comic book in a long time. I'm not gonna know that exact reference. But let me see. TASM 31 1965. Web of Destiny. This is the comic cover for it is If This Be My Destiny. No, this is this is the comic book where Peter was actually supposed to die in this comic. Like, they didn't know what to do with Spider-Man for a little while, so they were gonna have this great, powerful scene where Peter was gonna have his last moments beneath a bunch of rubble. It was also the this is also the point where Peter actually used his love for his family to save himself and keep going as Spider-Man, because he didn't know if he wanted to continue because he hurt so many people he loved, but he didn't understood the fact that he was also helping the people he loved and that he did more good than actual harm for him and his family. That's where this reference came from. So, yeah. Took me reading the fucking comic cover to do that. Wow. God damn it. I'm either losing my memory or I'm getting old. Jesus. Alrighty. The concepts.
Not bad, but I think the White Spider was definitely the way to go.
Let's see. The S on the diamond is clearly a Superman reference. A lot of the sharp eyes are... A lot of those are just fucking 90s references. You can see a lot of the references to each of the spider suits right here. Let's see. I know there's a Deadpool reference here. I'm just trying to see which one. Yep, there you go. It's the one with the X on it. That's the Deadpool reference. There you go. It's literally just there. That's all it is. It's just a Deadpool reference. It's the mask with the X on it, if you guys could see it.
Oh yeah, that blind guy gave me his card in case Spider-Man ever needs a lawyer. Wait, hold on.
This is a reference to...
Spider-Man.
This is a reference to Matthew Murdock, aka Daredevil, who's actually a good friend of Peter in the comic books and actually defends New York alongside Peter. Well, until now. He's now currently in a white suit and apparently dead? Quote me on that if I'm wrong. But,
I could never give this prototype spider tracer enough range to be useful. But I did adapt the tech into my web traps, which really come in handy.
This is actually used in the comic books, and this is also was heavily used in the 90s show. The spider tracers was a huge aspect in the comic books because Peter would often deal with this issue where he would get his ass kicked the first time, so what he would do is he would put a tracer onto his villains, and they would actually block off the signal so Peter could track them using his spider sense. It was pretty cool for the most part. Ben Reilly's design was a lot better because it was a lot smaller and it wasn't shaped as a spider too. Which is meh. I'll just say that. Meh. Yeah, that's that comic. that's the reference that the Spider Tracer is referencing.
This piece of the Shocker's original uniform showed me how to protect myself from his blasts. Of course, they always upgrade, don't they?
Obviously a reference to Shocker, but, you know, whatever. Let's see. Trying to look. I'll show off all the collections after I explain all the references, for the most part.
My underarm webs. Thought they might help me glide short distances, but they never really worked. Looked cool, though.
This was the reference in the comic books where most artists would just draw Peter with like Spider-Man with underarm reps. It was pretty cool for the most part, but yeah. Glad that they're gaining some love though, in all honesty. It's still it's not my favorite aspect of Spider-Man. It doesn't really make sense, but fuck it. They look cool.
Hey, my Mark 1 web shooters. Managed to improve the storage capacity a lot since then, but the basic design's still the same.
All this is just basically a reference to what Peter's web shooters just typically look like. Because this is literally what the typical classic web shooters are in the comic books. Like, he still wears these to this day.
Used these electrician's gloves in my first fight with Electro. Gave me the idea to add insulation to my costume, which saved my bacon more than once.
Well, that was just self-explanatory. Like in the comic books, yeah, yeah, that's just pretty much self-explanatory.
An Oscorp visitor badge from when I interviewed there. Would have paid well, but Dr. Octavius offered the chance to really make a difference.
And the reference is on top of the barcode. Let's Google that for you. That right there is a reference to the first appearance of the Green Goblin. So that's, yeah. In the first that is all it is. It's literally just a reference to the Green. This is just a Green Goblin reference. Like that bottom like on the top of the barcode, it references the Green Goblin's first appearance in the comic books. So yeah. And then we got.
Captain Watanabe gave me her cell number when she finally decided. The jammer I whipped up to jam Vulture's wings. Too bad he improved them after that.
Another self-explanatory reference. The first time Peter ever fought Vulture, he actually used that device.
With this vial of the lizard's blood, I was able to mix up a cure and turn him back into Dr. Connors. Too bad it didn't last.
Now we get to see Lizard in the sequel. So, yeah, it's something to look forward to. This is just a reference to the big time suit.
Out a fabric that warps sound and light waves. A stealth suit would really come in handy. This piece of Mysterio's helmet gave me ideas for my eye lenses. Go ahead, sue me, fishbowl head.
The spider signal.
A spider signal. Cool idea, but any light source that made it bright enough was also way too hot.
Was also commonly used in the comic books too. And then Sandman.
I'm not sure if opening this would set the Sandman free, but I'm in no hurry to find out.
But you know what? Let's let Yuri Lowenthal talk about the actual, like the Insomniac version of the references to this collection. So he will break down his own history for us. Okay, here we go.
A menu from my first real date with MJ. Wish I could have afforded someplace fancier. But she didn't seem to mind. Tried mixing up a prototype web fluid at Oscorp while Harry had his internship there. Didn't work. That place has always been bad luck for me. All I did was save this kid's balloon from floating away, and he made me this. It's the little things that make it all worth it. Spider plushie! Oh, a toy designer made this prototype to get me to license my likeness. Too bad there's no way to get paid without revealing my identity. Rejected costume designs. Not bad, but I think the White Spider was definitely the way to go. Oh yeah, that blind guy gave me his card in case Spider-Man ever needs a lawyer. Wait, hold on. If he's blind, how did he know I was Spider-Man? I could never give this prototype spider tracer enough range to be useful, but I did adapt the tech into my web traps, which really come in handy. When MJ and I applied for this lease, I thought we'd move in together. Instead, we broke up. I can be pretty oblivious sometimes. This piece of the Shocker's original uniform showed me how to protect myself from his blasts. Of course, they always upgrade, don't they? Harry's VIP card for the nightclub. Harry always tried to include me. My injured shoulder eventually healed. The bill took a lot longer to pay. Maybe this'll help me balance work and a personal life, if I ever find time to read it. My Wilson Fisk Science Prize trophy. And check. I couldn't turn it down without arousing suspicion, but no way was I going to take his money, even though we could have used it. I bought this used graphing calculator at a pawn shop. Stopped working in the middle of a trig exam. You get what you pay for. Superheroing doesn't leave much time for good hygiene. Gotta get it where I can. The infamous dumpling recipe. Should have come with step 10. Try not to burn everything in MJ's apartment. People know my parents died in a plane crash, but I still can't tell anyone they were government agents. Wish I knew more about them. I wish anyone did. Aunt May's recipe for wheat cakes! I could never make it work on my own. My ESU ID badge from my semester as a teaching assistant. Didn't have time to stick with it, but I could definitely see teaching again someday. Used these electrician's gloves in my first fight with Electro. Gave me the idea to add insulation to my costume. My prom boutonniere. Crushed when I had to fight Fisk. Kinda symbolizes my luck with relationships. Hey, my Mark 1 web shooters. Managed to improve the storage capacity a lot since then, but the basic design's still the same. I thought web swinging would let me get pizzas delivered fast. And it did. Fast and smashed. My underarm webs. Thought they might help me glide short distances, but they never really worked. Looked cool, though. Funny, my fear of heights didn't go away when I got my powers. Had to climb to the top of the Empire State to get over that. An Oscorp visitor badge from when I interviewed there. Would have paid well, but Dr. Octavius offered the chance to really make a difference. Captain Watanabe gave me her cell number when she finally decided to trust me. She's risking a lot. If anyone finds out she's helping me, she'll lose her job. Fisk beat the hell out of me with these. I almost used them for evidence, until MJ pointed out I was trespassing, so I'd probably end up in jail. Typical Parker luck. My thesis paper on neurotechnology. This got me the job with Dr. Octavius. Rhino almost killed me until I broke this chip off his horn and figured out what his costume's made of. Still wasn't easy to beat him. My back still aches just thinking about it. Almost forgot I bought this snow globe for Aunt May. I think I get my love for this city from her. Oh! Oh, man! I meant to wash this gym shirt 6 years ago! P.U. Never finished this application for the coffee bean. Would have paid more than what I'm doing now. This article blaming Spider-Man for electro-killing cops was the last straw. I had to quit taking pictures that helped Jameson print lies about me. Got some good parts from this old cell phone. Wonder what I could accomplish with a real budget instead of dumpster diving. Took a bullet from the cops back when they thought I was working with Electro. Good thing textbooks are thick. Too bad they're also expensive. The jammer I whipped up to jam Vulture's wings. Too bad he improved them after that. When the Vulture cracked my eye lens, it almost blinded me. That was a wake-up call. Had to upgrade to a stronger material. With this vial of the lizard's blood, I was able to mix up a cure and turn him back into Dr. Connors. Too bad it didn't last. After I got my powers, I didn't need my glasses anymore. Told everyone I got laser eye surgery with money from the Fisk Science Prize. MJ wrote this article in the school paper about student protests. She was a heck of a journalist even then. Supposedly, Fisk made his fortune selling these spices. I mean, they're good, but not that good. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Why doesn't it ever feel like it? Aw, the good luck card from when I left the Daily Bugle to go into research. Some really great people there. And Jameson. One of these days I'll work out a fabric that warps sound and light waves. A stealth suit would really come in handy. Wish I knew who made this comic about me. Kid's got a future. This piece of Mysterio's helmet gave me ideas for my eye lenses. Go ahead, sue me, fishbowl head. The Spidey Squad. My one and only fan club. When Jameson's going off on me, it helps to remember they're out there. The spider signal. Cool idea, but any light source that made it bright enough was also way too hot. Someday, though. Gotta have something to do on stakeouts. I beat this wrestler right after getting my powers. Never had that much money before in my life. Or since, come to think of it. Hey, my first camera. I got this at a yard sale. Still uses film. The last ball game Uncle Ben ever took me to. I need to get this framed. I could really use his advice now. Jameson gave me this at his Bugle retirement party. I thought nobody would listen to his talk show. Shows how much I know. Still not sure if opening this would set the Sandman free, but I'm in no hurry to find out.
Now that was the references and collection pieces of the Insomniac Universe's version of Spider-Man. Now if we swing around, I could show you some other references to other heroes. Alright. I think we're really close to one of them. You should be near Avengers Tower, if I'm not mistaken. I totally forgot about the whole... I forgot about the Eddie Brock reference, okay? I think it's because I just forgot about it. It's because it's not leaving any actual... They're not gonna do anything with the Eddie Brock. They're not gonna do anything with Eddie Brock in the comic books, which sucks. If you go to Feast, there's also a reference to... There's a reference to Flash Thompson and Feast, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. It's one of the clipboards or one of the dartboards. It's called no. It's called a corkboard. My bad. And here we go. Avengers Tower. We're literally just referencing the Avengers. That's all it does. In its description, it talks about how the Avengers are not really here to use it because they're more on the lines of the West Coast. So that just tells me that their version of the Avengers is being run by Hawkeye. Because Hawkeye was the leader of the Avengers when they were part of the West Coast. So now we know what part of the universe, or what part of the timeline that this original Spider-Man takes place in what era where the Avengers are. So, I don't think... Wait, that also means Tony Stark's not Iron Man. That would be Rhodey. Until he starts going off in the Silver Centurion suit, and then, you know, Tony Stark's back to being Iron Man. But during this timeline, when the Avengers were in the West Coast, Iron Man was actually dealing with alcoholism. I believe that's something important to know. Alright, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this real quick.
Is not proper consumer etiquette.
God damn it. Okay.
Good old-fashioned holdup. Vintage crime stopping right there.
But no, during that time, like I said, Iron Man was dealing with alcoholism. Now, I think I'm heading straight to Hell's Kitchen. That's kind of where I'm heading now. I want to see if I'm able to find the Nelson Murdoch building. But I can also show you Fogwell's gym and also Josie's bar.
Vehicle chase in progress. Please proceed to Halifax. Over.
Alright, let's see if I can find it. Where is it?
Spider crisis coming through.
I don't know why I can't find it, but it should be in one of these areas.
An armed mugging was just
But no, Nelson Murdoch does have a wall, has a building over here that they use, and then there's also Josie's Bar, the bar with no name. Sanctum Sanctorum's also here too.
Take a day off. Every two-bit mugger thinks he's the next Wilson Fisk. Well, they are going to jail.
And then there's also the bar with no name. And I guarantee when the second game comes out, there will also be the Baxter Building. I don't know why they didn't put it in the first game, but, you know, you get what you pay for, I guess.
Spider-Man, shoot him! Ever hear a knocking? Get back! Knock him out already! Pro tip, if you're not good at breaking or entering, maybe don't pull a B&E.
Anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.